I think it's fair to say that smartphones, social media, and dating apps have all made dating far different than it used to be over the last decade. I would argue that dating and relationships have become far more complicated than they really need to be. In this video, I want to talk about how dating has changed so much and how we as individuals can look at dating with a much better perspective. I'm Enfield TV, and this is Dating in the 21st Century. First, I think it's important to define what love really is. A lot of people think love is a feeling. You feel this great attraction towards this person, and they make you feel warm and safe inside. But love is not a feeling. Love is truly caring about someone else not only as much as you care about yourself, but more. Jesus says in Mark chapter 12, verse 31, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Paul says in Philippians chapter 2, verse 3, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourself." So love is not just a feeling, but it's compassion, patience, kindness, servitude, and many other things. I think many people would agree with me when I say that people have become increasingly more and more selfish over the last few decades, and our current societal situation with romance is just one result of that. People go into relationships thinking, what can I get out of this? How can this person fulfill me or make me whole? That's a skewed way of looking at love. What they should be thinking is, how can both of us mutually benefit from this relationship? I think selfishness and an inability for people to truly care about their partner is part of why divorce rates in the US are between 40 and 50%. Society has made us think it's essential for us to be married. Every time you go to a family function, your relatives ask you if you're in a relationship or not. Your friends ask you if there's a girl you're talking to. We grow up thinking if we aren't in a relationship and if we're not married by a certain age, we're a loser. Even at church, it seems like single adults are treated as second-class citizens. Personally, I think that if you're single, that's a gift from God. We should use the time of singleness He's given us efficiently until He puts the person we're supposed to marry into our lives. I think we need to learn to be content with singleness before we get into a serious relationship, because your partner isn't going to fulfill you or complete you. Furthermore, the entertainment industry has distorted our view on relationships. Romance movies sell us stories of these beautiful people who have perfect relationships. The entertainment industry has sold us this lie that Prince Charming or a beautiful princess is going to stumble into our arms. It's going to be the most magical thing ever, and you're going to live happily ever after. The reality is that you will probably meet your future spouse at work or through friends, and your first couple of interactions will be awkward. Your relationship will be far from perfect. People often walk away from these movies thinking, I wish I had a relationship like that, or I wish I had a man like that. The reality is these perfect people and perfect relationships don't exist. Your relationship will have times of strife, times when you feel distant from one another, times when it's hard to love one another. Unfortunately, Hollywood has caused us to take these false views of romance into our relationships. Smartphones have severely changed the way we go about relationships. When our parents were dating, they might have talked on the phone for a long period of time, but other than that, all of their interactions were face to face. Now, we can text and message people anywhere at any time. Smartphones have reduced the number of face-to-face interactions we have and have allowed us to be able to start relationships with people without having even met them. Smartphones have weakened our ability to have social interactions, and most men would rather shoot their shot over text or Snapchat rather than risk being rejected in person. Many men have so little confidence they don't ask girls out in person or online. They're too afraid of rejection to even try, and the way some people act, I don't blame them. You can ask some people out or tell them you like them, and they'll screenshot the message and send it to all their friends like it's a joke. Phones have become so essential to starting relationships that a talking phase now exists. Used to, you might talk to someone a little bit, ask them out, go on a couple dates, and then you would say you're dating. Now, you almost have to get a girl's phone number or Snapchat and talk to them for a couple weeks before it's normal to ask them out. I say talk because most of the time you're just sending a picture of your face to her. More than likely, she's probably also talking to several other guys at the same time. You might do all that work of carrying conversations for days on end only to get rejected, find out she already has a boyfriend, or even get ghosted. Social media has also had a big impact on relationships. Social media was intended for people to be able to keep up with family and friends, but it has become a place to show off how great our life is. People post pretty pictures of themselves and the awesome things they're doing for the social validation they get from other people. People we've never even talked to before like our posts, and it makes us feel good about ourselves. Research has shown that people, especially young girls, who spend a lot of time on social media are more likely to have depression and anxiety. Many social media users compare themselves to other people. It makes both guys and girls think they have to look a certain way to attract the opposite sex. People often joke about all these 14 and 15-year-old girls who look like they're 18 and 19, and the reason for that is because they use makeup to make themselves look older and more attractive. Social media has really hurt the way we look at ourselves and how we look at the opposite sex when looking for relationships. Looks are definitely important, but guys, you shouldn't expect every girl to look like Megan Fox, and girls, you shouldn't expect every guy to be over 6 foot. Only 14.5% of the population is. Lastly, let's talk about dating apps. Dating apps eliminate a need to go out and meet someone. You don't have to garner the courage to talk to a pretty girl, you can just find a match on Tinder. Like smartphones, dating apps have given us less reason to interact with each other in real life. However, the worst part about dating apps is hookup culture. People will match with someone on Tinder, have sex with them, and then that's it. Hookup culture has diminished the value of relationships in many people's eyes and has caused many people to see the members of the opposite sex purely as objects. If you've ever been on a dating app, it's hard to find someone genuine. Trust me, very few people on dating apps are the kind of people you would want to date. Changes in culture, smartphones, social media, and dating apps have all changed the way we approach dating over the last decade. I doubt we as a society are ever going to go back to the way things used to be, not that dating in the 50s or 80s was perfect or anything, but what can we as individuals do to improve dating and relationships in our own lives? Number 1, date for marriage. If you're not dating to find a potential spouse, then what's the point? A relationship without an end goal is a relationship without commitment. Otherwise, you might as well be like the hookup culture people on dating apps. A commitment to someone is the ultimate sign of love, and it's also how God wants us to pursue relationships. Number 2, suck it up and talk to girls in person. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, I'm really terrible at this. I'm definitely not the person to be giving you this advice. But at some point, you have to realize that either A, you're never going to be in a relationship, or B, you're gonna have to suck it up and ask a girl out. If she says yes, great. If she says no, don't take it personally. Just because she rejects you doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, she just doesn't like you. Unless, of course, you have a big character flaw, in which case you need to change. Otherwise, keep your head up and try again. Number 3, never date a girl whose values don't align with yours. I don't care how physically attractive she is. If her moral values don't line up to your moral standards, do not date her. You don't want to gain the whole world and lose your soul. Number 4, never Snapchat a girl you haven't talked to in person first. Every time I have tried to start a relationship with a girl I've never spoken to or a girl I barely know, it has not ended well. You don't have to follow this advice, but I would highly recommend it. Number 5, always ask a girl out in person. I know it stinks, but you need to get the courage to ask out a girl in person. It shows her that you're not afraid to be rejected and that she really means something to you. Besides, she can't screenshot a verbal conversation. Number 6, try and display true love towards her and always be a gentleman. If she's agreeing to go out with you, you should definitely treat her with the utmost respect. Treat her exactly the way you would want to be treated. Number 7, cuties are always better than hotties. That's all I'm going to say about that. I hope these principles will help you to develop healthy relationships. As long as we're intentional, we can overcome the negative consequences that smartphones, social media, and dating apps have brought us over the last decades. Best of luck, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and comment down below. If you'd like to see more content like this, you should consider subscribing. Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.